Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. And right now, you're railing with the World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Joe Walker. Roman Reigns successfully defended the WWE Unified Universal Championship at Clash at the Castle against Drew McIntyre. And I'm glad that he did that. Now, I don't want you to think that I did not want Drew McIntyre to win the title, because I did, and I do. I want to see him hold that title again, and I want to see him win that in front of a crowd that's pro him. And how that went down, we'll talk about that on a later episode. But for now, I wanted Roman Reigns to win, but for a very selfish fan reason. Although, again, I do want to see Drew McIntyre hold that title again and win that title in front of a raucous crowd. I don't want him to be the one to take the titles from Roman Reigns. The person that I want to take the titles from Roman Reigns just so happens to be following him around at the moment as part of the Bloodline, or at least a Bloodline supporter. And that's Sami Zayn. I have been looking forward to seeing Sami Zayn as a world champion for quite some time now. For me, he's the most entertaining person in the WWE. He's compelling. He's funny. He's great in the ring. He can be comedic. He can be serious. He has a lot of things working for him. And where he is right now, as a supporter of Roman Reigns, the tension that's building in the bloodline with him and the Usos, there's magic there. And it's a perfect opportunity to give him the world championship. And how you do it is simple. And sometimes it's okay to borrow ideas from things that have happened in the past. And with Triple H being in charge of creative, I think Triple H is sitting on something that's been done before that he can present on the main roster or on Raw and SmackDown with the World Championship that happened with the NXT title that some of you may not have even considered possible or even thought that it could or should happen. So we're going to talk about that right now. There's tension between Sami and Jey Uso. If you're looking down the line at world championship matches or title contention matches, they're setting it up right there. There's a history between Roman and Jey, and you're creating this dynamic between Roman and Sami. Let's have Sami Zayn and Jey Uso be the last two competitors in the Royal Rumble. Or to make it even more contentious, have the last four be Jimmy and Jey and Sami and Kevin Owens. Sami goes over, moves on to challenge Roman Reigns for the title at WrestleMania. Now, I know everybody was big on the idea of Sami Zayn winning Money in the Bank. I actually like that idea too. I've thought he should have won Money in the Bank several times over. But now with him in this storyline with them, now with him in their circle, the opportunity is even better. The intrigue is better. Because he's there with them. Do they trust him? Do they not trust him? Are they using him? Is he using them? And having him win the Royal Rumble to go on to challenge Roman, that would be interesting, especially building up from there to WrestleMania and what they could do with Sami and Roman and the Usos and Kevin Owens leading up to WrestleMania. And that's when I think that Roman Reigns should lose the title. He could thrash and beat Sami up all along the way. The Usos could jump him all along the way. They can have tag team clashes between the Usos and Sami and Kevin Owens all along the way. You could even have, before WrestleMania, Sami and Kevin Owens be the ones to defeat the Usos and win the tag team titles. At the same time, you're developing another tag team that's on the way up. And then have the Usos maybe win the titles back from Sami and Kevin so they can defend the titles against someone else at WrestleMania. Or have them cost Sami and Kevin Owens the championships so the titles can be defended and contested between 4 other people at WrestleMania. However that works out. But still keep it within that circle. There's some involvement with them. We get to the WrestleMania match. Back and forth between Sami and Roman Reigns. And Sami Zayn, after a hard-fought match, comes away with the victory. He's the one to end Roman Reigns' long title reign. He's already surpassed 2 years. At that point, it'll be 2.5 years. Imagine the ovation, the elation, the fan response, the media response. You've turned Sami into this megastar now. He's already popular. Now you have him be the one to beat Roman Reigns. You turn him into a megastar. Now here's where things get a little more interesting. Sami wins the title. He has his moment at WrestleMania. The confetti, the fireworks, the celebration. Kevin Owens comes out and celebrates with him. Or maybe he just celebrates by himself. Kevin Owens could come out on Raw. Well, let's start with let's just say he celebrates by himself in the ring. He has his moment. The next night on Raw, they have a championship celebration to close the show. You even have Roman maybe come out and shake Sami's hand. I know he says acknowledge him. He's starting to get more cheers than boos now. Maybe that's an opportunity to do something different with Roman Reigns. Or at least give him some time off and let him go away on a high yet respectable note. Not necessarily a villain, not necessarily the good guy, kind of neutral. He had an unbelievable run, and he comes out and he acknowledges the competitor that beat him. It's just another boost for Sami, if that's him. The crowd's loving it. Kevin Owens comes out to celebrate with him. Kevin Owens is leading this celebration. They're just gloating over Sami Zayn. End of the show, and when it's all said and done, Kevin Owens turns on Sami Zayn, knocks him down, power bombs him, throws him out the ring, and power bombs him on the apron. He's carted out. Does that sound familiar? It should. Because after Sami Zayn won the NXT championship, and he celebrated in the ring, after finally winning the title, after toppling a champion who had held the title for a considerable amount of time. At the time, it was the longest reign, and that was Neville. Well, he was Neville in NXT, but Pac, the current All-Atlantic champion in AEW. Sami toppled him after his long reign. He finally wins the big one. He finally wins the title that had been eluding him the whole time he'd been in NXT. There's a celebration. Kevin Owens comes out and celebrates with him, his best friend, his mate. They've traveled together. They have history. They're walking out together. Sami attacks him. Kevin attacks Sami. Power bombs him in the ring. Throws him to the ring post. Whatever attacks he chooses to do. Ends it by power bombing him on the ring apron. Maybe even doing it more than once. He's carted out. Mouths are open. Jaws are on the floor. Crowds booing, or maybe even shocked into somewhat silence as the post-WrestleMania Raw goes off the air with Sami being carted out and Kevin Owens standing there with the world title, looking at it like a devious, hungry, ravenous animal. Thank you for listening to Railing with the World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Joe Walker, on the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, aka The Whip Show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and support the platform wherever you get your podcasts from. Follow The Whip Show podcast on all social media, and follow me on Twitter at Mr. Joe Walker. No excuses. Championships only. Be kind, be creative, win.